As far as I can discern, there is no price too high to pay to be who you are and to own who you are and to be with God while doing so. You see, there's a lot of people that are willing to sell parts of their soul so that they can fit into the world or fit into society and do things that other people think that they should be doing, quote unquote. And here you are, somebody that knows what the world is about. And when you know the world and what it's really about, there's going to be a tendency that you have toward really wanting to expose the BS. You know, it's kind of like you don't really care about much when you see the world as it is, and yet you care for it so much that you suffer with and have a reverence for life with everything that is alive and life itself really as well. And so when you have this operation of reverence flowing through your being, and you are like a wellspring of compassion and joy and just positive energy, many people only care and usually will only care about you when you start being a little bit too radiant with with your light. You know, nobody really cared who I was until I started to win in life. And my version of winning is being spiritually fulfilled and doing the things that I wanted to do and what God really called me to do as well. And there's a lot of people that have wanted to do a lot of different things with their lives, but because they've never really been satiated with their fleshly desires, and they continue to search for those fleshly desires to be satiated, they never turn to the spiritual. It was only when I let go of my desire to be satiated in my flesh that I was able to find true spiritual fulfillment. And it's not necessarily a satiation of spiritual understanding, but it is more of a fulfillment. And so the fulfillment that you have when you are spiritually aligned with who you are and you're owning every part of yourself, nobody can really dismantle that. And people are going to strive to really make sure that you're off your square. You know, something that I've recalled and thought about recently quite a bit is how my dark side has played an immense part to my creativity. And I think that I ought to encourage people to not repress or suppress their dark side, because in the repression of your dark side, you start to project that onto other people. This is one of the reasons why you see so many men, for example, who get bitter about being lied to about the nature of women. And then you see a lot of women who get bitter toward men when, you know, they played around in their 20s because that's what society tells them to do. Is women have been fooled into believing that their 20s are for fun. And that's not the case at all for women. In fact, that's the best time to start making a family, is in your 20s as a woman. And that's what's going to give you fulfillment. And if you don't believe me, look at all these women over the age of 35 to 50 plus years old that they don't have a family. They've been in their career. Most of them are miserable. Most of them are on antidepressants. And this isn't just what I think. This is what the literature suggests and demonstrates in the data. So it's not just, oh, well, he thinks that way about women. And it's like, no. It's not that I don't think that. It's not that I do think that. It's just that's what the facts are bearing out. And the men, it's the same kind of thing. You know, the men operate and they get out of these terrible marriages where the divorce was terrible. And I mean, just the women have gutted them for all their worth and are left with nothing. and they have to rebuild everything again and pay child support sometimes on top of that. And so what it is, but these people don't really learn specific things that they probably ought to have learned in their 20s or even way before that. They don't learn about these things until it's a little bit, I don't want to say it's too late, but it's more like the bed has already been made. And so I see what's going on now is there's a lot of people that are striving to win in life and that are not eradicating striving from not just their vocabulary, but it's also they're not eradicating it from their way of being and their mode of being. And this is causing a sophisticated leap of faith to be stricken in the hearts of so many people that are young right now. And this is exactly what happened to me. Is I looked around and I really didn't see anybody that was winning. Like, I didn't see anybody that I could say was winning in life in the community that I was in growing up. I was like, man, these people are all miserable. Like, why should I listen to anything these people have to say? And I never really said that out loud, but I definitely thought about it. And there were even times where they would have the image of this great life and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. I had a friend in college as well where they invited me to Thanksgiving and Christmas time. Like they really treated me like family to some degree, even though I didn't know them very well. And yet I looked around and they had all these nice things. Like, this was definitely the nicest house or most sophisticated house that I have been invited into for a long time. There was maybe a few friends when I was growing up that had, like, you know, they were on the nicer parts of town, but still, like, not very many. And I was never necessarily poor, but or broke, but we definitely weren't well off either. We were lower middle class for a long time, for a long time. And it wasn't until I was in my late, I guess mid to late high school years that changed for my family, specifically my immediate family. And then once I started to really commit to my own life and I wanted to create my own life and I really wanted to declarate my independence, you could say. I have the Declaration of Independence I have it on I guess you could call it an altar of sorts, in my bedroom. And I have that on the altar, and it's not necessarily an altar, it's more like a dresser, but I kind of treat it like an altar. Maybe one of these days I'll show you guys, but I've got a lot of godly things there as well. But I also keep the Declaration of Independence because it reminds me of the importance of independence, but also the importance of communing with people as well, and really what the people that founded my country strive to do. And this is in my blood now to some degree, and this is something that for a long time I didn't fully understand until I started to make my own decisions. And really what I wanted was the freedom to make my own mistakes. It wasn't even really the freedom to make my own choices. It was the freedom to make my own mistakes. And the reason for that was because for all of my life, up until I was in my early 20s, I would always be told that, you know, it's this way or that way, or it's this way or it's that way. Even in college, even in college, and, you know, I'm being paid, or I'm not being paid in college. I'm paying quite a bit of money and paying these people that are there to be paid to tell me a bunch of BS. Why should I listen to a professor talk about how to build a business and not a business person? Like, this didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense why I was listening to somebody talk about things that they've never even done before. You know, if you're not doing something in your field and you haven't educated yourself on it Well, maybe you can educate yourself on it, but you haven't actually committed it to practice. How in the world am I supposed to believe that or trust anything that you have to say about the subject? And this was a genuine question. I wasn't trying to negate the professors or anything. It was just a genuine question that I had. And so what I found to be the case was that as soon as I started to make my own decisions and as soon as I started to have that freedom to make my own mistakes, that's when people started to really hate me. That was when people really started to either really love me or really hate me. Even to this day, I get a lot of love and a lot of hate wherever I go. Admittedly, for the last 2 weeks or so, the hate mail and the comments and the Instagram DMs and all that I've been getting, people will literally DM you on Instagram. This is what I found out over the past 2 months, or the 2 weeks. People will literally DM you on Instagram just to berate you and then just ghost out of nowhere. It's like, you people are sick. You people are really sick in the head. And if I disagree with somebody or if I like hate somebody, I will say it to them, but I'm not gonna like go out of my way just to write a bunch of hate comments. I will say things as they are, but I'm not going to. I don't really hate people. I hate evil. That's what I hate. And to fear, as the Bible says, to fear the Lord is to hate evil. And I don't hate people. I hate the behaviors that people exhibit. And I will hate on the behavior all day long if I need to. But I'm not necessarily, I'm not going to put that as my focus. And so this is where understanding your dark side really comes into play. And acknowledging that your dark side can be used for creativeness way more than you can imagine, because I took all of this negativity and the people that were always trying to control me in my life for years and years. I took all of this negativity on myself and I was able to not project it onto the other people. I said, okay, like for my whole life, for example, I was putting anger in a box. I was putting it in a very tight-knit box that had like 20 locks on it. I threw away the keys. I didn't even want to look in that box. But it was only until I was able to scrounge out the keys and unlock everything and really take a look at what was inside. I didn't find a monster inside that box of anger. In fact, I saw a beautiful beast. And what I mean by that is I saw the capacity for using aggression as a utility and using anger in of itself and these negative emotions as a utility source to create something beautiful. Because God makes us what we are not, obviously, right? And so I was not assertive for very long, most of my life actually. I was very assertive growing up until I was in junior high. And then that really got beat out of me from the school system and from my parents and everything like that. Like I really didn't care up until I was in junior high, and I just couldn't really take it anymore. I couldn't take the pain of always being ostracized about being who I was. And it was only when, so to give you guys more of a background, also, I used to be nearly 200 pounds at one point, and maybe I'll show you guys a picture of my driver's license that I have, just the image of me, because at that point when I took the driver's license picture, I was like 185 pounds or something, so I wasn't quite 200 pounds, but you'll see the difference between me now and at 185, because right now I'm about 155. And so it would be a 30-pound difference, and it'll definitely be a big difference. But I was almost 200 pounds at one point, and I was eating pizza and ice cream. I was very unmotivated. I still don't really believe in motivation necessarily. I believe in inspiration. But I also found that the people that were on your team they didn't, they cared about you, but they didn't really care until you actually started to win. Until I lost the weight, until I started to take my career seriously, until I started my own entrepreneurship, businesses and such, they were on my team. And then they started to see me win, and they were like, oh, wait, whoa, wait, hey, buddy, where are you going with that, buddy? Wait, whoa, what you up to, man? Why are you doing that? Do you really want to be doing that? That's kind of risky. Aren't you a little, like, you're acting kind of arrogant about this? No. These people are wanting to stomp on your dreams. These people want to make sure that you, because they see you as competition now. Before, you weren't competition. When you were a loser by their metrics, you were fine. But now that you're actually doing something about it, yeah, they can't handle that. No, they don't want to see that. So nobody really cared who I really was. Nobody really, in my experience, up until I was in my early to mid 20s, nobody gave a rat's behind who I was and what I was about until I really put my foot and my pedal to the metal, and I didn't give up. I'm still not giving up. Even though the last 2 weeks, for example, have been so many spiritual attacks, and like I'm seeing these comments and I'm seeing the emails that I'm getting and all this stuff, and it's just like, you guys are you guys got a lot going on for nothing going on. Like there's not a lot going on there, and yet there's so much going on. And those that understand what I'm saying understand what I'm saying. Those that don't, they don't, and that's fine. But a lot of people will spend their time debating and trying to argue about who's right and what's wrong, or playing these gotcha games, and it's just like, this is all futile. This is all ridiculous. This is not, and here's the thing also, it's because most time when people are arguing, nobody's actually ever going to change their mind. Like, when was the last time that you were in an argument with somebody and you actually changed your mind, or they actually changed their mind? It doesn't happen very often. It probably does happen, but not very often. So I don't see it as very constructive. But what I do see as constructive is raw and real conversations. And if you can have a raw and real conversation, that's a completely different story. But yeah, I mean, I think this was a kind of long-winded video, but I hope that it was useful and provided some insight, or was even just relatable for you, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that will relate to this, especially godly people, because nobody really cares until we start to win. And then they want to join us. They want to ride our momentum until they realize the level that we're on. Because this is one of the points I wanted to make with my video yesterday. Everybody wants to be your friend and lover on semen retention, was that everybody wants to be your friend and lover on semen retention until they realize the kind of discipline that you have, until they realize the amount of responsibility and accountability they'll have to have, until they realize the work that it'll actually be taking to get through this kind of stuff, until they realize you get the point. Okay, they all want to be a part of the team until they realize the standards to make the team. That's really what it comes down to. So with all that being said, if you guys do want to join the Regal Change Academy, we have the free Discord available, as well as the paid community. In the free Discord, I just put a ebook in for you guys, as well as a bunch of other free resources for meditation, physical fitness, etc. We are beginning a weekly 30-minute call there in the free Discord for anybody wanting to join. We also, in the paid community though, what we did is we just finished up the Art of War class series. We are doing as of now, we're doing a monthly meditation guided session for everybody that has the full membership in there. We also have a bunch of other classes available. We have another class series coming in down the line. We've also got other classes that are going to be very useful for you that you can do on your own time. So the Godlike Savage course, to incorporate a physical, emotional, and spiritual holistic understanding of fulfillment. And then also we have the meditation, narcissistic healing, entrepreneurship, etc. We've got a whole bunch of stuff in there, something for everyone. We also have a weekly Bible study call as well as a weekly Regal assembly call. We're going to be adding some more weekly calls down the line just so everybody has a bit of variety and people that maybe have different schedules can join at different classes, because we want to make sure that this is a spiritual army that is endowed with proper education, spiritual understanding, and physical fitness and all the nutrition that they need for their mind, body, and their soul to really thrive. So I do appreciate everybody moving from the YouTube platform over to X, Rumble, and Instagram recently. I do appreciate your guys' extra support. And with all that being said, peace be with you all. Till next time.